welcome to Adventures in AI. Today we have the wonderful Heather Nemelka, and she will be talking a lot about women and artificial intelligence and how to get back into the workforce if you've been a mom for a while. And we're just super pleased to have her here. She is the head of Global Stakeholder Relations and Global Field Marketing at Spinnaker Support, and she's had an amazing career, and we're just excited to have her here with us today. Welcome, Heather.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
First of all, let's hear a little bit about your life and your journey and how you kind of got into the workforce and then re-entered the workforce.
Certainly. So I was a stay-at-home mom for about 18 years. And when my husband and I got divorced, I knew I needed to return to the workforce. And so I was really struggling because I thought, oh, no one's going to want to hire me. I have no experience doing anything, even though I had worked before I became a stay-at-home mom and I had a degree. But it was really challenging. But I was able to get back into the workforce. My goal was to get into tech. So I went back to school and got my MBA in hopes that that would help me, be more attractive to the tech world. And I was able to get recruited by Domo to work for them, and they were a great company. And then Amazon Web Services after COVID hit. And then while I was working at Amazon Web Services, I got recruited away to work for the company that I've been working for. And it's interesting, about 2 years ago when AI started to become a lot bigger thing, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so powerful and important. I need to help more women get involved because It was already very evident to me that when I was having conversations, they were always with men. And I realized, oh my goodness, there's so many benefits from AI that I then volunteered to become a part of the AI chapter for Silicon Slopes. And just wanted to have more of an opportunity to be able to help women not only re-enter the workforce, but also help them understand what the benefits are of AI.
That's absolutely fantastic. Can you kind of explain a little bit about Silicon Slopes for those that don't know what that is?
Certainly. So Silicon Slopes here in Utah is like Silicon Valley in California, where we have a really thriving tech community, but it's also expanded to include a lot of others that aren't necessarily in tech, but they've really tried to make it a much more inclusive environment so that anybody who's looking to innovate and grow Utah can be a part of it. And so the AI chapter was formed several years ago, but nobody was really doing anything with it. And so almost 2 years ago, there was this big AI summit, and that was the catalyst to starting to regrow it again. And so we do these monthly lunch and learns to invite people in the community, both enthusiasts, data analysts, builders in AI, et cetera. That way, we're able to build this bigger community within the Silicon Slopes environment. So we have lots of tech companies here in Utah, and that's what I love to be a part of.
So how would women be invited to these monthly meetings then? Or?
Oh, certainly. So there's a chapter that's Women in Leadership as part of Silicon Slopes also. Okay. And we actually have done some combined AI events with them because the Silicon Slopes AI chapter wants to be much more inclusive with the rest of the community. And so we just had a lunch and learn about a few weeks ago, and I was amazed at how many women were in the audience. So it gave me a lot of excitement about what we're doing in the AI space, and that a lot more women are feeling confident and comfortable.
And are these women that are coming generally, they're stay-at-home moms, or are they more in the business area? Or
That's a great question. A lot of the women that I'm seeing coming to these events and being a part of the community are in tech. And one of the initiatives that I have that I'm going to be starting this year is launching an initiative to help women become educated in AI. So when I was working at Amazon Web Services, I was over the field marketing for training and certification. So for those who don't know what AWS is, or Amazon Web Services, that's the cloud computing arm of Amazon. So you have the e-commerce side and then the cloud side. Right. And so my team was responsible for marketing all the training, certifications to build cloud fluency. I see the same thing being really important for AI. So building literacy right now with women and helping them understand what the benefits are. Because as I see it, if the algorithms that are being fed with the data it's only as good as the data that's being put into the model.
Right.
And so if the data is biased because most of the people working in these fields happen to be men, we're never going to remove that bias out because there aren't enough women involved in tech and certainly building with these AI models. And so my theory is if more women could get excited about AI and using it in like their everyday, they don't even need to be into tech,
Right.
but then they'll start to feel more comfortable and realize, oh, AI can enhance my life. It doesn't have to be scary or difficult. And so that's what I'm working on this year.
So what are some ways that women can use AI in their day-to-day lives?
That's great too. I think if you're not in tech, simply using AI, and this is for anybody, but women in AI, using AI, if they're a stay-at-home mom, can use it to create recipes. For example, you can say, I've got these ingredients, create a recipe for me, and it'll create it. You can also use it to help you realize, okay, these are the symptoms that my child has. You could put into ChatGPT or any of these models and say, based on these symptoms, what do you think my child has? And so it can give you some things to think about. Certainly it's not a replacement for medical care, but it can give you some confidence and some comfort knowing that you are doing the right thing. Also too, like talking about your children. My son loves this, and this. What sports or activities do you think I should encourage them to do? So those are things just on the mom side, but you can do it, like there's so many other things. Like I encourage women to use it for any of their areas of their life. And the more you use it, somebody gave me really great advice several years ago. They said, if you want to get comfortable using AI, you need to use it 30 minutes every day. Just find a way to use it 30 minutes every day. So using any model, so if it's ChatGPT, whichever you choose, using every day to ask it questions, and then it gets to learn who you are, and it becomes much more customized.
That's awesome. I was thinking the other day even of conflict resolution in families.
Oh, yes, 100%. I've actually had that. I've had that happen where this is going on. This is how I feel. This is how my child feels.
Yeah.
I need to resolve this, what the problem is. What are some ways that I can speak? And I'll be very specific in my prompts. So when you give it the prompt, it's really important to continue to feed it what you need and carve that into a very specific ask. So sometimes I'll say, you are a child psychologist. You are an expert in resolving these kind of conflicts. I'm a mother. This is my child. This is what's going on. Help me learn where I should start this conversation, or help me understand where my child might be coming from too, right? Because I've got my own biases of how I think I should be doing things as a parent. I love being able to put in these questions and have AI kind of tell me, well, based on this, your child probably is really concerned about X, Y, and Z. You may want to ask them these kind of questions, and that's been really helpful.
That's
amazing.
So awesome. It is. It's a great resource. It really is.
Yeah.
I know that you're also an active member of the Women's Tech Council. Mm-hmm. What do you do there?
I am not involved in the leadership, but I do a lot of the mentorship groups, and I try to help, when I can. They have so many great activities, both for girls and women. If I think about some of the things that I get really excited about, it's mentorship and certainly being a part of She Tech or helping there. I wasn't able to help this year, but there's a very strong community of women growing the tech community. And I think it's also really important for women to see other women in tech. So as we see people doing the things that we think we can't do, but we recognize that, they had to start from somewhere, right. It gives us some confidence that we can do that too.
Do likewise.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Elevare.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about 2 years ago, I wanted to do a tech startup. I've always been entrepreneurial. My grandfather started Dunford Bakery with his brothers, and
That's so great.
Those donuts are pretty great.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to do something more, and I recognized that there were some limitations being a single mom and needing to provide for my family, and so I was just kind of exploring different ideas. I thought about some things that I could do on the side while working full time so I could still support my family. And I was talking to my entrepreneurial cousin about some of my ideas, and he kept asking me questions. Well, like, why are you doing this? Why? And after the fifth why, I realized that the angle or the approach that I was taking was completely contrary to who I was and what I wanted to build. And he says, you're interested in AI and you're interested in helping women return to the workforce. Why don't you do something either in AI or helping women get back to the workforce? And I was like, oh, nobody would listen to me. He's like, sure they would. Look at yourself. Look at what you've done. And I thought to myself, okay. And so then I started and I've been helping women all along figure out, how do you do your resumes? How do you get back in the workforce when there's been a career gap? Right. How do you interview? All those things. And I started using AI to also help me help them. Yes. What are some mock interview questions that I could ask? What are some, here's a sample resume. What are some things that need to be changed or updated? And I found it was so satisfying and gratifying to be able to help these women. So then I launched an 8-week workshop last year, and just to help them build skills. These are all stay-at-home mothers that were trying to get back into the workforce. So helping them, build their resume, do a LinkedIn profile, how to interview, dress for success, all those things. And that's really where it took off. And then I was working with a team of BYU students with their on-campus internship program. And they said they did all this research, interviewing over 100 mothers. And at the end of the research, they made a lot of recommendations. And one of them was to do a big event to get more people in the community involved. And so I did this big Elevare summit last October. We had great involvement from the community, also from the women attending. And from there, it's just taken off. I was able to form a 501c3. So now we have a nonprofit, and I'm just building and growing it as we go.
That's so fantastic. And so do you still work with AWS? Or?
After AWS, I moved to the company that I've been at, and I've just recently decided to go all in on Elevare. And it's interesting. Cortez had to burn his boats in order to move forward, and that is where I am right now. I just recognize so many women keep coming to me, and my daughter needs to return to the workforce, or my sister, so and so is struggling, and I need to do something to scale me. And so that's kind of how Elevare is starting to grow. There's just a huge need, not just with women returning to the workforce, but others that have had career gaps, caring for aging parents. Somebody that just has had some struggles since COVID and now needs to get back. It's not just the stay-at-home moms.
Right. Well, that's truly amazing. I was thinking you need to kind of replicate yourself. One of the things that we do at my company, at Quiklearn, we actually create a 3D character of
the
you.
Avatars, yes. Right?
Yeah. And then you're able to go in and do simulation training in 3D environments. And so we could actually do your character, and we clone your voice, and then we input your information. And so you don't have to be 24/7 answering questions, because we'll input all of that information into your character. And they can ask as many questions as they want. And so we'd love to do that.
Okay, I think that's going to be my next step. I know that there's just so much growth that Elevare wants to have, but also using AI to create those efficiencies. Yes. I mean, that's really what AI is all about. It's the enhancement that it brings to our lives, not the replacement of the human, side of us, but it's just how do we then, leverage AI to scale us.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we've actually done that with a few people, and we're actually doing a paid pilot with UVU.
Really?
Where the professor, we've done his character and ingested all of his curriculum into his character, and now the students can go in and just ask him questions at their leisure. So.
Oh, that is so amazing.
Anyway, well, that's kind of a little side note, but so when did AI first click for you? Like, what was the moment of like, oh my gosh, this is going to truly change us for the better?
Back when the internet first came out, I was talking to some students about the World Wide Web and what this internet was. And I was asking them what it all meant, because I wasn't in the workforce at the time. I really didn't understand what the internet was. And I felt really out of it. I felt very behind all of a sudden. And I promised myself that if anything innovative, a new technology came about, that I could tell was going to change our lives, I would never let myself be on the end of that. And I knew that once I saw AI becoming more accessible to us through ChatGPT and other models, I knew I needed to jump on board and see how I could benefit from that. And the big aha moment after I recognized how important AI was going to be in our lives was when I saw how AI could help women return to the workforce, because you can use it to help you create your resumes. You can put in this period of time that you've been doing all these mom things and say, okay, I've been doing this, this, this. What are some business skills or workforce skills that these translate into? And helping women build confidence out of working with an AI, and I call it like an AI mentor, because you can go into an AI model and ask it questions. And these are my concerns. And also, I'm going to be interviewing for these possible jobs. What are some topics I need to be aware of? Or also help me understand these are my interests. What companies might be aligned to those interests? And that was the big aha moment. I was like, oh my gosh, we do not have to be left behind. Right. We can actually be on the forefront of this. We just have to use it and take advantage of it.
Use it every day for 30 minutes.
Every day for 30 minutes. That was the best advice, because at first I was really nervous. I was like, well, I don't know how to prompt this. I don't know what to ask. I don't know. And I certainly didn't have time as a single mom working full time and busy to take a lot of training and go and take a class. And all I had to do was use it every single day for 30 minutes, and I got more and more comfortable. And then I recognized, if I ask these kind of questions and I give it additional context, it can give me even better answers. And that's when I just realized, wow, this is going to bless so many people's lives.
Yeah. And I think it's an interesting learning process, right?
It is.
Because ChatGPT is learning from you and you're learning from ChatGPT.
Oh. Yeah.
And so it's this nice cycle, and that hopefully will be spiraling, upwards, spiral.
Yeah.
So I think that's truly amazing, and I'm so grateful that you took something that was probably pretty traumatic in your life, and you turned around to help others in that same condition. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you. I've had so many people help me. A lot of men, some women who have really helped me pull out the potential that I have. And so if I can help other women do that, that's what I get really excited about. And AI, I know at first when it came about, lots of people were afraid and, it's going to take our jobs, and it's scary, and we're going to be ruled by AI. And what people recognize is it's an enhancement, not an inhibitor. And it needs to be something that we all embrace, and we can benefit from it. And the comfort level comes day by day, right? And as you keep trying, and every 30 minutes, every day, just made it much more comfortable for me.
So specifically, how are you rolling Elevare out to women?
Right. So right now, I've been using AI a lot for Elevare. Help me create a workshop outline. So right now, I'm doing some confidence workshops just to get more people aware of Elevare. Mm-hmm. And even though Elevare helps women return to the workforce and brings women to organizations that want more diversity, and not necessarily DEI, but want skilled workers, because as we know, more women give a different perspective, have some soft skills that are really important to organizations. But I recognize that if I could get more people into these confidence workshops, then they could benefit from Elevare once they build their confidence. So I've been using AI to help me create, here's my outline. What slides do you think I should show? What are some potential questions I might be asked? And give me some, really great answers. And I still have to infuse myself into all of it, because it's not meant to replace me, right, but it's a way that I can educate and build Elevare much more quickly, because I'm a team of one right now, and I have an internship team that also helps me. But I've been able to scale Elevare so much more quickly by using AI.
And other women can do likewise with their businesses.
Oh, yes. So for example, once I realized I needed to create a nonprofit, because there was a lot of community excitement about what I was creating with Elevare, I got onto ChatGPT and said, okay, I want to create a 501c3 and I want to create it quickly. What are some things I need to do? And it helped me understand like my articles of incorporation and what I need to do for a board of directors and all the things that go into a nonprofit that I had no idea. And it was much more efficient to be able to ask, ChatGPT, what are some of the things I need to look out for? What do I need to make sure that I avoid? And what do I need to do? And what are the requirements? And I was able to scale that part much more quickly. So so anybody who wants to start a business using, whether it's, ChatGPT or any of those models, it's going to help you scale much more quickly because you can just ask it for best practices too and avoid anything that could hinder your ability to be able to create a successful business.
Avoid the pitfalls.
Oh, yes.
So we think that maybe ChatGPT has some dangers inherent, but it can also warn us of dangers that we might not be aware of.
I love that. Yes, 100%. Because I had to ask those questions because I wanted to make sure that it was accepted by the government, first time. I didn't want to have to keep reapplying for 501c3 status for nonprofit. Right. And that way I was able to avoid those pitfalls from the get-go. And I'm so glad that I took that time because at first I thought, well, I'm just going to talk to nonprofit founders and ask them more questions. But that takes a lot of time. You have to work with their schedule. Whereas you could ask ChatGPT any time of the day.
It's very convenient. I will say that.
Oh, yeah. First and foremost, I think AI can give women a lot of confidence because if you feel like you are able to use the tools and be able to ask it questions, you build confidence just by using a technology that maybe you weren't familiar with at first. Sure. And so I think first and foremost, it offers that. I think also too, it levels the playing field. So maybe you don't have the same education as someone else does. You can actually go in and receive all of this training from AI to help level the playing field and certainly understand things and learn things much more quickly. It just like we talked about the pitfalls, you can also ask it like, okay, if I am a woman in this role and I want to move up in the company, what are some of the things I should be looking to do? I want to run to the ball. I want to be promoted into some leadership positions. What are some do's and don'ts for me? And based on the company, the industry, the size, those are all questions that you can ask. Also too, just AI itself will allow us to work much more quickly. We'll be able to organize our thoughts into concise formats and frameworks that maybe ordinarily we might have a hard time articulating. I think it's just going to be amazing, but women have to take advantage of it. They have to, and baby steps, right? I just always tell women, start small. Maybe if 30 minutes a day is too much, start with 5 and just start to get comfortable. And then as you get more and more comfortable, then you'll be using it every single day. And then certainly if you're in the workforce and you want to be able to move up in your company or we talked about conflict resolution. Sometimes you have people that you manage, coworkers. How do you handle these ideas? I remember one email that I was writing and it was a sensitive email and I asked and I put it into ChatGPT and I said, help me reframe it so it's still professional but is communicated in a softer way. And it helped communicate it so much better than I could have. So we avoid a lot of issues that could come
up. And then
up.
for the next time, you have had that information and now you understand that better.
Yeah, I can just do it.
It's teaching us other things than just how to write a paper. It's kind of even the emotional intelligence.
100%. I can even ask it, okay, here's my email. Is it communicating the objective that I have? Because obviously whenever we're communicating with someone, we have a goal in mind. Sure. And so if our goal is to have XYZ, we want to make sure that whatever we're communicating is going to give us that outcome. And so I think having us, giving us the opportunity to be able to use AI to either reframe our perspective or help me use language that is going to communicate this.
What am I missing here?
Exactly.
What am I not seeing, from my perspective? How can I see that from someone else's perspective?
Yeah, because we're biased. We think we're right. Or at least I think I'm right.
Yes. Most often.
Yeah, most often.
So, no, that's awesome. I just really appreciate talking with you, Heather. I just think this is truly amazing. And if you had to give maybe 2 or 3 suggestions, other than we know that, using ChatGPT every day, maybe put it on your phone. That's an easy thing to do. What other things would you like women to do to kind of embrace what you're doing if they need some transition help? What are some good things they can go to? You were mentioning some meetings, whatever. Maybe any specifics that they can go to?
I think definitely using ChatGPT to give you suggestions of training or free, even free online training that you can take advantage of to either help you as a mother, if you're in the workforce, in your career, whatever goals you may have, like give it the chance to help you become your best version of yourself. Yes. I also not every woman has children, but I love how AI can be a connector between you and your children. And I think if I could explain to women the opportunity they have to not only educate themselves, but also educate their children and grow together in a beautiful way, because it's a technology that children are going to be growing up in their schools learning. If you don't take advantage of that teaching opportunity to also learn and grow with your child, then that's a real miss. Yeah. And I think lastly, I'm a big proponent of goal setting and achievement. And so I think if we could do anything, it would be to use ChatGPT or AI models to help us figure out what's in the future for us. What do we have to look forward to? And it could be a 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan, but feeding into it, all of these are the things I like right now, but I want to grow, I want to develop. Give me some things that might push me to do some more. In other words, I want to get out of my comfort zone. Help me help myself. And I think that can be a real catalyst for change and be helping you become, like I said, the best version of yourself.
So if just to wrap everything up, so you want people to go out to a website maybe that you have, or?
Yeah, so if you are a mother looking to return to the workforce, you can go to elevare.com. That's with 2 A's, ELAVARE.com, to learn more about the resources that we offer, all these free trainings. But also, if anybody just wants to reach out to me, they can go to LinkedIn, find me, or email me at info@elevare.com, because I do love helping. You don't even have to be a woman trying to return to the workforce, but just building confidence. That gets me really excited.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. You've given us so many good ideas and a lot of food for thought, and I think will really help the people that are listening here. So thank you so much, Heather.
You are so welcome.
All right.
Glad to be
take
here.
care.